Greetings everyone, this is Vaza here and welcome to the advanced guide on Bombergrounds Reborn. That's right, this game has gotten a big new update and the game is way different than what it was before. We've got a whole new tab for various animals with different playstyles and also a grand total of 4 different game modes on top of it. And that calls for one thing: Microsoft Paint. Welcome back, my trusty old friend. I've missed you. Why can I hear people laughing in the background? Don't be dissing on Paint like that now, it's a very useful tool for what I'm about to do. Anyway, I also made another video over 2 years ago now, if you didn't see it. It's a bit outdated now, but it still has many good basics in it. If you want more help, you can probably take a look at that video as well, but I will also summarize what you need to know from that video here, so it's not a requirement. Alright, let's get started with the basics. You use WASD or arrow key to move, space to place bombs, control to charge or swing bat, and 0x to use your ability. You can also change these keys in the settings if you want, but you can also use a mouse. Unless you're on mobile, then you just tap the screen. We will talk about the abilities later. For now, we'll start off by quickly going over all the other basic stuff. First of all, the boxes still drop items, and items are good. Go for boxes, get items, and get stronger. Also, remember to be conservative with your bombs. You never know when you might want to use a bomb defensively in order to defend yourself from incoming attackers that want to kill you or steal your farm. Secondly, the star bar system still exists, but the UI is a bit different now. You get 0 to 5 stars per box, and I think you still drop about half of your stars on death, so you can also get stars by killing your foes. 10 stars still make up a full star bar, and you have 3 star bars total. And you also still get all the effects right here by getting star power. You also get plus 5% max HP now though, but we'll talk more about that later. And the running speed I believe is only a 5% increase for now, so not as drastic anymore. Thirdly, the bomb kicking still works the same way, but now it also takes into account player facing direction, so you can no longer kick bombs behind you. Charging also works the same way, and you can also still time your bat charging to make the bomb explode only 1 or 2 squares away from its original location. On a positive note though, charge spats no longer insta-kill you. Woo! Except bat combos are still a thing, and I'm pretty sure it's still overpowered. It may no longer one-shot you, but you can still get stun locked for a bit and take extra damage without you having any control over it. I think the quick swing stun time should definitely be lowered for this reason, but for now we'll have to deal with it. And this actually brings me to my next point. Nothing one-shots you anymore. Now the game has a health system, and different things deal different amounts of damage. And different characters also have different walking speed now, but the difference is very small, like about 10%, so don't pay too much attention to it. Unless I'm somehow wrong or it's a bug that'll be fixed in the next patch. And last but not least, kill credit still works the same way as it did before. As long as you have a bomb in someone's bomb chain or you kick someone's bomb, if that bomb or bomb chain ends up getting a kill, every quote-unquote participator gets the kill credit, even if you didn't place the bomb or if your bomb did nothing. And now, let's get to the new stuff. If you play a game of Battle Royale, you actually start by falling down from the sky, just like in Fortnite. You can now choose your own place to land down to. Of course, you want to land somewhere where there's many boxes, which I've marked a few areas I like on this map right here as an example. You also might want to avoid people in the early game though. In the center of the map, you can find some stars and items. These items can also drop from boxes though. I don't think it's worth going to the center myself personally, I don't think there's enough value. There are 3 types of items: boots, gloves, and medkits. Boots give you speed, gloves give you extra damage, and medkits heal you. Those items also have a golden variant which has double the effect. I do believe all these numbers here should be correct, but I'm not 100% sure about the healing one, so do feel free to correct me if I'm slightly wrong. And the last basic gameplay thing I want to talk about is tall grass. You can hide in them and nobody can see you, even if you're charging your bat. But if there's a bomb inside the grass, that particular square gets revealed to everyone, so you can't hide bombs in the grass. It also reveals anyone that's standing on the same square as the bomb. Also, the grass gets destroyed by the flames, but they respawn back 5 seconds later. Also, a reminder to everyone that due to the way that the camera is angled, you can see more of the map on the top side of your screen. So try staying on lower parts of the map to not get caught off by anything sneaky. And now, let's finally start talking about the character abilities. But before that, I want to introduce you to character classes. There's 3 different classes: Balanced, Damage, and Tank. A balanced character has all stats at a solid medium. A damaged character has a high bomb damage but low health and melee damage. A tank character has high health and melee damage but low bomb damage. And what the words high, medium, and low mean are brought up here on the side for all the stats I just named. Health is between 1500 and 2500, bomb damage between 700 and 1200, and melee damage I'm not 100% sure, but it should be somewhere between 550 and 850. Probably. I didn't get to test this out very well. And I also may be ever so slightly wrong about the other stats, since due to balance patches, every individual character can have slightly different stats that can easily vary by up to like plus minus 200 points. But this should give a good general idea of the range these stats should fall into. Maybe one day we'll get the exact numbers. Oh, and you can also increase all these stats a little bit by leveling up your characters using the experience you gain from playing. And now let's finally get to all the characters in detail. Note that all descriptions here are with the assumption that the character is still at level 1. First, let's start with the common characters. Catty the Cat is a balanced character. Their ability is the Whirlwind, which makes you spin your bat around you for 3 seconds, dealing up to 500 damage in little 20 damage spurts. The cooldown is 15 seconds. Unfortunately, this character gets countered quite easily, so it ends up not being the greatest choice in almost any situation. I'm sorry. Hoppy the Bunny is a damage character. Their ability is Super Jump, which makes you jump high enough to jump over obstacles. And if you press the button again mid-air, you also do a downward smash, hitting everyone in a small AoE. A cooldown is 12 seconds. Having the ability to jump out of tough spots while also retaining some offensive potential makes this quite viable. The bomb damage is a big plus. Bjorn the Bear is a tank character. Their ability is the Mega Shield, which shields you from incoming attacks for 4 seconds. Melee attacks get deflected, dealing damage back to the opponents, and bombs get absorbed by the shield, reflecting the explosion all around you in the pattern shown by the sketch that I made here. The cooldown is 18 seconds. This is a strong character, but it can also be played around. If you meet this guy, just keep your distance and don't play melee if you're not a tank yourself. Next up, the rare characters. Pawn the Deer is a balanced character. Their ability is Bonk, which makes you jump in the air and immediately slam down on the ground, dealing AoE damage in front of you and stunning your foes. The cooldown is 14 seconds. While this character is more rounded than Hoppy, the lack of tither, control, and specialty just makes Hoppy the better choice. I don't think the extra health and melee damage balance this guy out enough. Snoozy the Panda is a tank character. Their ability is Soothing Nap, which makes you sleep for 3 seconds, recovering a total of 1000 HP in small 100 HP bursts. While sleeping, you cannot move, and if anyone attacks or stuns you, your healing gets interrupted. The cooldown is 15 seconds. While many say this character is broken, it can easily be countered by the various characters that can jump over obstacles. It's still a good choice if you can make it work, however, but the skill ceiling is quite low. Next, the epic characters. Vivi the Corgi Dog is a damage character. Their ability is Throw Weapon, which causes you to throw your weapon like a boomerang. While your weapon is still flying around, your bat swinging is temporarily disabled. The cooldown is now 10 seconds. Honestly, the attack is slow and there's a koala that does exactly the same, but it's more reliable and faster. But this guy deals more damage, so I think this one is just okay. Connie the Koala is a tank character. Their ability is Bamboo Shooter, which can snipe opponents from a distance. The cooldown is 10 seconds. Despite the short description, this character is quite good. The range, the manageable cooldown, and tankiness all complement each other quite well. A well-rounded choice in any game mode. Paw the Tiger is a damage character. Their ability is Quick Dash, which makes them quickly jump over obstacles and give a short period of invulnerability. The jumping distance is 3 squares. The cooldown is 5 seconds. This is my personal favorite character. Despite the lack of offense, it gives a very spammable and agile move that allows for quick escapes, slick moves and strategies, item sniping, and much more. Lots of potential in this one, but very hard to master. Next, the legendary characters. Fangs the Bat is a damage character. Their ability is Tornado, which creates a tornado around you for 3 seconds, making you fly in the center. Any opponent and bomb that gets stuck in the tornado gets thrown onto a random safe square around you in a 4x4 area, and any bomb that lands detonates instantly. The cooldown is 15 seconds. This is a powerful character. If used correctly, it takes priority over every other ability, but if used wrong, it could also look silly. This is a melee character destroyer. Also, beware of the random instantly exploding bombs. Popper the Squirrel is a balanced character. Their ability is Glider Bomber, which makes you glide high up in the air for 4 seconds, allowing you to carpet bomb your foes by dropping bombs on them. The cooldown is 18 seconds. This character is very fun to play, but it can be quite vulnerable when you don't have the ability available. Use it in moderation, and look for ways to support your team with the aerial attack. Chunky the Raccoon is a balanced character. Their ability is the Impactful Charge, which dashes forward and smashes to the ground, dealing damage in a small AoE and stunning your foes. The cooldown is 13 seconds. This character is quite hard to make use of, especially if your foes are staying in melee distance. You also can't dash over obstacles. And last, the mythic characters. Gruff the Ram is a tank character. Their ability is Violent Charge, which forces you to charge at enemies at a fast speed for 5 seconds, throwing any player and bomb into the air and dealing 130 damage every time you ram into someone. The cooldown is 13 seconds. This seems like a fun character, but honestly it feels a little bit chaotic and underwhelming. You can charge through bombs, but that's rarely an issue you would want to brute force yourself through this hard. Also, you can't stay still while charging. You keep running until the ability timer runs out. Ray the Wolf is a balanced character. Their ability is Fierce Claw, which makes you dash forward, draining health from your foes. You heal 7.5% of your max HP per every foe you hit. The cooldown is 10 seconds. This character thrives when there's clumps of enemies, but that doesn't really happen too often. The short cooldown helps a lot though, so I think this is a quite well-rounded average character. Kong the Gorilla is a tank character. Their ability is Enrage, which makes you jump in the air and slam down, dealing big AoE damage and stunning your opponents for a long time. The cooldown is 18 seconds. Don't let the simplicity fool you, this character is the king of stunning. Avoid melee battles and use wits and range to your advantage. And finally, Iggy the Koopaling from the Thirst Castle of Super Mario World. Okay, I'm just kidding. Iggy the Iguana is a damage character. Their ability is Tongue Grab, which pulls enemies near you, dealing damage and stunning them. The cooldown is 10 seconds. This character is quite deadly. They will pull opponents into bonfire or trap them in bad situations. Avoid line of sight at all costs against this rapid fire tongue master. And that is all of the characters. Once again, I want to say that not everything here may be 100% correct and is prone to future balance patches, but at the time of recording, all this data should be relatively reliable. Alright, now let's recap all the animals, shall we? This is my personal feel for the tier list in relation to the potential these characters can have when played correctly. The cat and the raccoon are pretty underwhelming, I feel. You can easily avoid their ability and there's just better characters out there. The dog and the panda are a rare viability. They're better than the first two, but there's also better characters to pick. And while healing is cool on the panda, it can be interrupted in many ways. Bunny, deer, wolf, and ram are all pretty average. They're not game-changing, but they can hold their own. They can fight back, and they can fulfill their role pretty well. Koala, Kong, and Iguana are quite strong. The quick ranged attack, player position manipulation, and sheer strength of Kong are all not to be taken lightly, but also they can be countered by better players. And lastly, the bear, tiger, squirrel, and bat hold really high potential. All of these characters must be respected because they will control the battlefield, and you have to adapt to them instead. The bear's shield and reflection ability is nuts, the tiger is just so mobile, the squirrel controls and zones really well, and the bat is super chaotic. You might not agree with this list, and that's also totally fine, but let me try to explain a bit of my reasoning. It's my logical conclusion that in a lot of cases, the player that uses their ability second has the upper hand. For example, if Kong smashes down, the tiger, bat, squirrel, bunny, and deer can easily jump away, so I don't think the Kong is as powerful as people say it is. And while you can easily keep your distance from Bear and Bat, the potential of these characters to control your movement is what makes them powerful. And now let's move on to the final section, the other game modes. We talked about Battle Royale, which is a 10-player free-for-all, which is also a lot less chaotic than the previous version that had 25 players. A duel is a classic 1 versus 1, and in a duel you generally want to use someone well-rounded that can hold their own. The arena is small and the boxes here respawn after some time. This is a best of 3, meaning first to 2 wins is the victor. If any game draws, however, the first person to win a game is the victor. But if the first 2 games draw, there's no game 3, and it's marked as a draw, which is kinda weird. I would personally make it go to game 3 myself. Next, duck grab is a 3v3. There's a cannon in the center throwing ducks, and your team has to collect 10 of them and hold onto them for 10 seconds to win. The boxes in this mode also respawn, as do the players if they were to die. The players also drop all their ducks upon death. This mode is all about teamwork, so you want someone mobile like Tiger to swoop in and steal any ducks, someone tanky or scary like Bear or Bat to protect their teammates, and someone ranged that can hold their opponent's back like Squirrel, Kong, Bunny, Koala, or Raccoon. And last, Team Fight is also a 3v3, but there's no ducks and the players don't respawn. This is also a best of 3 with the same rules as in a duel. The same team recommendations apply here as well, just like in duck grab. And in the future sometime we might have 2 more game modes. One of them being Bomber Splash, which plays like Splatoon where bombs paint the ground, and the other one being Protect the Crown, which is probably a Defend the Objective mode. But other than that, I believe that's about all I wanted to talk about. There were a lot of things to cover, but now, let's go ahead and put all of this theory into action. Let's play some games, shall we? Cue the highlight montage.